If you've ever dreamed of earning money while you sleep, then you've probably heard of the concept of passive income. Even in the world of finance and entrepreneurship, it's become this buzzword that claims that it can provide a life of financial freedom and flexibility. But what is the truth behind passive income? In this video, I'll be uncovering the reality of passive income by diving into what it takes to create sustainable income that works for you. I'll explore the misconceptions surrounding passive income, including the idea that it's effortless or requires no initial investment. I'll also discuss the various strategies and opportunities available for generating passive income, from investing in real estate to building an online business. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of the realities of passive income and the steps you can take to building your own passive income stream. So let's first start off with defining what passive income is. Passive income refers to the money earned with minimal or no effort required to maintain or generate it. It is income that continues to be generated even when you're not actively working. In other words, passive income is not directly tied to the number of hours you work or your active involvement in a particular venture. So when people hear that definition, I think for a lot of people, what comes to mind is when you hear minimal or no effort, or another word, a buzzword that comes to mind is making money while you sleep. So people listen to these words and they say, yeah, you know what? I want that. That's exactly what I want. I want to be able to make money while I'm sleeping where I don't have to put in any effort. And the problem with that definition is it doesn't really tell the whole story, right? It doesn't tell you how the sauce is really made. So it's like baking a cake and seeing the final product, right? But they don't see all the ingredients that was put in order to make that cake. So I think a lot of people, they see that finished product and say, yeah, that's what I want, but they're not ready for what kind of work that comes before that, or the work that entails in order to get to that point where you're creating that passive income. So I think for a lot of people, they have this idea like, yes, this is what I want. All right, this is what I want. How do I go about getting it? And when you really hear about the work that really takes to create a passive income, then people seem to be like, you know what, they see the realities and they probably, and sometimes they don't really put in the work. So I think some of the misconceptions about passive income is that it requires no work, or that it can replace your active income, when in reality it kind of depends. Like there are some systems or some methods that that's entirely passive, but most of the methods that they require a lot of activity up front. And I think people they don't really understand that. They just see that end product, and they don't understand the amount of work that it takes up front in order to create that passive income, or maybe the amount of research, because you got to research, like you got to figure out like, okay, what kind of method or income generating venture can I create that's going to create that passive income, or the investment time, like how much time is investment, that the fact that in the beginning you don't make any money sometimes to get to that point of passively generating income, that it requires a lot of work. And it kind of depends. It really depends on what you're doing, and I'll get to it later, where you'll see that there's some ways in which you can create that passive income where you don't have to do any work, but most of the times it really does require a lot of work. Also, some methods require money, all right? You have skills, and it requires you building a system, right? Building that system where you can generate that income passively. Another thing is the ongoing maintenance. I think a lot of people don't understand that. They just think that you can just set it and forget it, when in reality it requires a lot of maintenance, right? You got to make sure that whatever way you're using to generate the passive income, that you're maintaining to make sure that it's consistently doing that every day, every month, every year, for however long you have that income generating asset. I think for a lot of people, they're not really understanding of how the ongoing maintenance that's required to make sure that passive income is consistent, that year in and year out, that you're generating that passive income on a consistent basis. All right, the amount of management it takes to make sure that it's coming in all the time, and also that make sure that ensures longevity, and that make sure that's profitable, that you're making that money over time, that the money's not dipping. You gotta get ready for the times where the money that you're generating is going up and is going down. So you got to understand that as well. So it requires maintenance. It requires a lot of understanding that you got to create a system to make sure that it's consistent. And so let me share with you an experience that I had, right? Like if you've read any of my other videos, I started an affiliate marketing business back in 2016, and I remember when I first started making money in 2018, I was making 5 figures a month, and in my head I was thinking that thing was gonna keep coming every month. Like I got very complacent. I was like, you know what? All right, maybe it will be consistent for the next year, 2, 3, and you learn that one thing when you see that money coming in for the first time, like especially when you're not used to it, you get a little bit complacent and you think it's gonna keep coming in. if you talk to anybody in business, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to operate as if someone's taking you out of business. And what happened was, in my mind, when I thought I was going to keep coming in, eventually it started to go down, right? And what happens is, people are also, are in competition with you, right? Like for me, when I was doing affiliate marketing, I had this keyword and it was in the top of the Google rankings. What happens is other people start to see that you're ranking in that, and they start catching up on whatever keyword you're using, and they start using that in their blogs, and then they start moving up on the Google space, and they start taking away that traffic. So that's cutting into your income, and you learn real quick that people are cutting into your business and trying to take you out of business. They're also jumping in on what you're going in and making money with. So eventually you learn that over time that money starts to go down, and you're like, oh damn, I didn't create any other system or any other revenue generating streams to make sure I'm consistently making money. So that's just my experience, and I learned real quick that, like, all right, I have to build a better system, a better foundation where I know how to create systems that makes sure that money is coming in on a consistent basis. So that's just my experience. So what are some strategies in building passive income, right? So there's different ways. There's a lot of ways in which you could do it, right? So one way is like starting a business, right? Real estate investments, stocks, high yield savings accounts, or starting a YouTube channel or blog. So, and there's many more, but I just use those because those are the ones that I think are better examples. So let's start off with a business, right? And when I talk about business, I'm talking about like if you have a business and you have employees, right? If you see a lot of businesses, a lot of corporations, a lot of the employees obviously are making the money for the business. Without the labor of these employees, that business wouldn't run. So if you're someone that has a business and you have employees, then that's going to be a great way to create passive income, because the people are doing the work for you, and you've built a system where everything is put in place and they're generating the income for you. So that's one way. But that's going to require a lot of upfront. Obviously, when you're starting, you have to create the system. You got to build everything in place. You got to put people in place, and then eventually, when you get to that point where it's functioning, then you're just going to put other people that manage the business for you. But that requires so much investment. So that's not just passive in the beginning. That requires a lot of active work, and then it gets to you see that, like I said, you're baking the cake. You see the cake, but you haven't seen all the ingredients put in place in order to make sure that cake is coming out the way you want it to. Another one is real estate investments, right? Whether you're investing in real estate, that real estate property investment, where you're generating rental income. Obviously, you have to purchase that property. You got to make sure that you get the tenants. You got to make sure maintenance on the home. Unless you hire someone that manages the property for you, it's never truly passive income. Now, if you get a property manager that does it, then obviously they do all the work. All you're doing is making sure you discuss plans with the property manager. Then it gets passive. But there's a lot of upfront work that you have to put in place to make sure that it's working functionally. Or you could invest in like a REIT, right? Like a REIT. That's like a real estate stock. So that's another thing where you can just put money in the stock and then it's generating income for you. The next thing is stocks itself, right? You invest in these, and this is a passive. Like the next two are like very passive, where all you need to do is put money into it and you're generating income. So you don't really have to do anything but create an account and put money into it, and it's creating more money for you. So these would be like stocks or high yield savings accounts. So all you have to do is put the money into it, and it's generating, whether the stock goes up, stock goes down, it's generating revenue, generating profit. You're gonna make money on that back end. So those are completely passive ways to make money. And if you're getting dividends from those stocks, that's a completely way to get passive income. But in order to do that, you're gonna have to have some money, right? In order to get that money, you're gonna have to actively work or have a business that's generating income. So the next thing is what a YouTube or blog channel, right? And now, if you see me, you're watching this YouTube video. I'm actively working right now, providing information to help you. So that's active income. But then once you see, the video is made and then it's posted on YouTube, then you're hoping other people are watching that video, and other people, that have YouTube channels, they're making money without actually having to work. But in order to get that, you have to actively work and create that video, so it can create passive income on the back end. So it requires work. And if you have a blog, you have to actually write the article or write whatever it is you're talking about, write that in a website, and then you can generate revenue by ads, affiliate marketing. So it requires a lot of active income. So if you're thinking about creating passive income, you first have to figure out the way where you're going to generate income. Whether you're starting a business, real estate, stocks, savings account, or starting a YouTube channel or blog, you have to first create that income generating asset. You have to first get that asset, and then you have to build it up, and it's going to require a lot of work. Right? It's not something where you can just boom, set it, forget it, and it's going to start generating income. So I think a lot of people have this idea that if they can just get something, get an asset, put it in place, and it's going to generate passive income. That's not how it works, right? There's a lot of work in the upfront that you have to put in and create the systems, and then find out what works and what doesn't work. And then at the end, when you have everything working, then you put systems in place where it can then generate that asset, generate that passive income. So I think it's just having an understanding that don't get, when people are selling you this, oh, here's a way to create passive income. Do XYZ. They're not telling you exactly all the work that's up front that was put in place in order to generate that. It requires a lot of work. Like I said, unless you got a stock or a high yield savings account, there's no true way to just generate passive income just like that, right? It requires a lot of work, and I think a lot of people need to understand that. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, right? So you guys take care and have a good one. Later.